Hi guys, welcome back to our Man United podcast. Never ignored. Um, if the audio doesn't sound as good today, it's because we are remote. We're away from each other.
We're ensuring we stick to the government guidelines. No
Yeah,
gatherings, even if it's just two people. Taking this very serious,
yeah. So we're actually in different cities. We're taking it very, very seriously.
and
But
that's nothing to do with our personal lives. That's just the extent that we're going to.
just to make sure that we're safe.
Yeah.
I guess yeah. I mean, we usually go for a summary of what we're going to cover at the start, but there's not much to cover other than coronavirus. But that's going to be our main topic for the day. We've got a little bit about Pogba. Like we said last week, he's always in the news.
Yep.
Some Matic, and that's it really. I guess, yeah, what's happened since we last recorded? It feels like it's been a long time because we've only had one game. We had the LASK game, which we won 5-0, which was great. It was a bit of a strange atmosphere, right?
It was very strange because it kind of felt like all the games I've watched behind closed doors, like a training game.
Yeah, it was just bizarre. I wasn't really paying much attention other than the goals because, without the fans there, the atmosphere is a bit
Special
dry.
shout out to that one fan that got it.
Yeah.
He was having a great time.
And I guess it's sad for LASK because arguably it's their biggest game in their history, having United to come to town, and they had to do it behind closed doors. I guess that's just where we are at the moment.
It is. It's probably a bit of a disadvantage to them because obviously ability-wise they're not going to match up. So you'd hope maybe the crowd could get them going, but
Yeah. Well, without that, the 5-0 is almost inevitable, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Igalo scored again. Bruno was good. I guess we'll leave it at that.
Seems like that's been the summary of all of our games.
Yeah, not more or less. Yeah. So yeah, moving on from that, we were supposed to play Spurs on Sunday. Of course, I think was it Friday maybe that it was announced. The Premier League was at that point postponed till the 3rd of April.
Yeah.
And now it's since further been postponed to the 30th of April. So the only positive of that is that our record for earliest title win is now intact because Liverpool would have had to win before the 14th of April, I think it was, to say the earliest win, which they now can't do. But yeah, the season's in a bit of a perilous state at the moment.
It's kind of surreal at the moment, and it's one of them where there's so much more pressing issues to sort out that football is at the bottom of that list, hence why there hasn't been any significant or clear updates as to what the solution is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess we haven't really said why, but I guess, yeah, if you haven't figured it out, we're talking about coronavirus. We're not experts on it, so we don't know too much actually about it, but there've been a lot of government guidelines being put in place. We're working from home ourselves, so I think Aleem, you've been working since last Friday. Right?
Yes,
I've not been in since last Friday either, so I've not been in all week. It's a bit strange. I find time's going very slowly at the moment, especially there's no football to look forward to, nothing like that.
it is very strange. I just yesterday I had to ask myself twice what day it was of the week.
Yeah, that's it. I was saying to you earlier, time and days, it's just a blur at the moment. It's all the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it doesn't look like Euro 2020 has been postponed till 2021. Yeah, the Premier League's been postponed till the 30th of April. Champions League games, no idea when that's going to happen. Europa League, no idea. There's talks of a mini tournament to settle each of those. I don't know how they're going to get that in.
I haven't got a clue how they'll schedule it, but the prospect of it sounds quite exciting. It could be, I guess, it'd follow like a similar format to the World Cup, how they run up with the quarters and semis and final, and it would, I'm assuming, be over one leg, so it would just be a standard 90 minutes. But it would be surreal because, again, I imagine it would be behind closed doors, and I don't know what kind of strain it would put on the schedule. Because with leagues left to finish, I can't understand where all this is going to fit in. I think the Premier League came out today and said that they will accommodate for the fixtures finishing no matter what, but I don't know what that means for the start of the next season.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, I think them releasing these kind of statements and stuff is just too early to come up with a plan. I know they've got to be prepared and stuff, but I think, they just got to keep it postponed until further notice. And then, if we get clear in a month, 2 months, then revisit it again then. But for now, there's no point planning, we're going to start this date, we're going to start that date. We just got to get over this first.
It's not going to happen. You're right, because I think at this stage they could create a whole extravagant plan and by this time
Yeah,
tomorrow,
and then we
something
could
changes.
find out tomorrow it might change. We could find out in 2 months' time it might still be going on. There's, at this stage, no one knows. I was reading a report that was suggesting that they've got to keep social distancing going for 18 months. But
Wow.
again, I'm not an expert. I don't know if that's true or not. But
What do you think then in terms of what would your solution be to the Premier League conundrum?
so with my Man United hat on, it's cancel it. I'll take another year of Europa League to stop Liverpool winning the title. But I think the right thing to do is probably just leave it until we know more and finish this season no matter what. And if something has to get cancelled, cancel next season.
I
But,
think okay, so you think that eats into next season essentially to
yeah,
ensure
because
that this
if you
season.
think about it, the way things people are talking about it now, I don't know, maybe September we might start again. So you're already way into since next season's time. It's going to take still another 2-3 months to finish off this season. That takes you to the end of the year. Then I don't know, maybe have a break then start next. Oh, I don't know.
It becomes incredibly messy, but I think
Euro 2021, maybe bring that earlier. I don't know.
you're potentially onto something because the World Cup we know is going to be in the winter, so maybe
yeah.
there's some
So
kind of
if you have
potential.
the Euros like, I don't know, February time,
Yeah,
then once that's finished, you can then start the, what will it be, 2021-22 season.
yeah,
Then, and then that would probably finish in time for the World Cup.
that's very potentially.
Yeah, but then I don't know. You got to get the calendar back to normal at some point.
It's crazy because obviously the big debate at the moment is, void the season or continue. They more or less seem to be the two options. Um, I was listening recently to a podcast where the guy on that was saying the most fair. Oh, sorry, he described it. The way he described it was the least harsh rather than the most fair. The least harsh would be to start the season again when it's safe and start based on the terms of the season that we're currently through. So the teams that are currently in the Premier League would could continue. The teams that got promoted last season from the Championship would start again. The league would essentially restart and nobody would be awarded anything. Now, this is on the basis, because I do think, Liverpool, they probably are going to get a title and they do deserve it based on their current performance and everything they've achieved so far. So this, I'm not just saying this because I don't want to see Liverpool win the title.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put my Roy Keane hat on. Well, they haven't won anything yet.
yeah. So the fact of the matter is, if you say have they won the title right now, the answer is no.
No.
But where the complications begin are if you were to take the table as it is right now, and say, okay, Liverpool champions, Villa, Norwich, and Co relegated, etc. Blah blah.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think Liverpool's the issue at the moment. I think the issue is the Champions League qualification and the relegation battle.
Exactly that. So with Sheffield, they are 2 points behind United with a game in hand. So if they were to win that game in hand, essentially they'd take fifth place. And essentially, if the Manchester
City are banned,
all that kind of stuff continues as it is, then and Sheffield finish fifth, then they get the Champions League spot, not us. So if we were to call it as it is now, it's a bit unfair on them because it's not an even playing field in terms of games played.
Yeah, and then I think the same thing for it's a similar thing for Villa. Villa, isn't it? They're 2 points behind Watford.
Yeah,
they got a game in hand. Is it fair for them to get it cut now?
Yeah, because
Probably
right
not.
now they'd be relegated, but they should have the chance of winning. So, the chance of playing that game to make it a level playing field. So, I don't know.
But then you can also argue let Sheffield and Villa play their game, or I'm assuming they must be playing each other, right? But or maybe not. I think maybe City have got a game.
Sheffield are playing City. I feel like that was the fixture that was cancelled because of the League Cup.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. So we'll let them. So the argument, I guess, is let them get their games in and call it at 29 games. But then you could also argue United are arguably the form team in the league at the moment.
Yeah.
Although they wouldn't be in the position they would expect to be by the end of the season if they carried on their current form. So there's all sorts of things that I know Karen Brady was saying. Yeah, the only fair thing is to avoid it now. But
probably because Karen's got some interest in West Ham not being relegated.
Not being relegated, right? Yeah. But
And
I don't know. We've got to just got to wait and see. I guess it's unprecedented.
yeah,
I
and
guess.
it's unclear at the moment as to how this process is gonna, whose vote counts for what, whose voice counts for what, how many
Yeah.
votes mean equate to what. So it's gonna be a case of either void the season or suspend. And I think as well, to add to the whole void, if they go down the void route, they should still keep. Well, they still have to keep the individual records. So, for example, I don't know, Marcus Rashford scored X amount of goals. That kind of stuff, it would be very difficult to just take away from those players because they've still
Yeah.
achieved that. It's going to become very messy, like next year or the year after
Yeah.
when you see last 5 seasons, how many goals someone scored, and there's always going to be that asterisk alongside this season that
Yeah.
this happened that season. So
I suppose the other thing about keeping it fair is if you do carry on the season, some players' contracts run out at the end of June.
yeah,
If well, maybe it's even the beginning of June. Not 100% sure. If they run out before it starts, teams could be. Well, what do they do?
yeah,
They're not obligated to sign another contract, right?
of course, yeah. What do they do?
Can they go to other teams in the league at that point because they're free agents? Then you also got, for example, Chelsea have already announced that they're signing Ziyech
Yeah.
from Ajax. I'd imagine that deal officially completes pretty early in the summer. Does that make him eligible to play in the
Exactly
in
that.
the league?
And the players are out of contract, for example. There's that rule that a player can't play for more than 2 clubs during the season. So now does that player have to move to another club and then wait? And, it becomes very messy.
Yeah,
Or are they going to
and
move
then
to some kind of pay-as-you-play contract? I
yeah,
don't know.
exactly. And then even if you forget transfers and stuff, and you just look at injuries, Spurs at the moment have got Kane and Son out. They're arguably their two best players.
Yep.
By the time the season resumes, they might have them back.
We could get Rashford back.
Yeah, we could get Pogba back, maybe. Pogba looks like he was going to come back soon anyway. But we could have a stronger squad. Is that fair on other teams as well?
And then as well, summer transfer window. When does that kick in? When can they start signing players, selling players?
Yeah, because I think that starts pretty soon after the season finishes, right?
Yeah, it does.
So does that get postponed? From what I've been hearing, teams tend to start their transfer business around sort of end of February, early March time. Not that the deals will be completed, but they get the ball rolling. So it's going to change a lot. Even you could there's some players that this is going to be a shame for them. Like for example, Ings is having a great season.
Yes.
He might have been hoping to get in the England squad with all the injuries to strikers. Next year, Kane might be fit, Rashford might be fit, Ings might not have as much of a good season. He might have lost his chance for the Euros, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Vice versa, you've got young players who might have a better season next year. They might get a boost from it.
It's a shame, yeah, you're right in that. For example, with Danny Ings, yeah, you're right, because he did have a very good shout of getting in. And then I think to caveat that, maybe players like, for example, who aren't nailed on to start, Wan-Bissaka, because Trent is obviously favoured at the moment. Maybe he could now, over the next season, put another great shift in and then be in contention to be the number one. So it is definitely going to change the shape of whatever that squad was going to be. Most likely, you'll have Kane back. Rashford back. It's going to be very tricky, and by that point, maybe Henderson is our firm England number one rather than in contention.
Dean Henderson, yeah.
Dino.
It's just crazy. There's just so many things to get answered, and even actually, sorry, I didn't even think about this before. The Olympics has got football as well, right?
Yes, it
does. I know that there's not as many teams play that. And it's generally, I think, only 3 of you over the age of 23.
The last I remember,
yeah, something like that. But that's still, there's still some pretty high-profile players playing that sometimes. I think Salah was being talked about playing for Egypt.
Yes.
So what if Egypt call Salah up for the Olympics, and it's at the same time that now this season's trying to finish?
Yeah, it's something that could very likely happen because as we speak, the Olympics is still going ahead.
Yeah. Which I don't know how they've managed to wrangle that. Even our corporate games has been postponed.
Yes, exactly.
So, but yeah. So as it stands, let's just sum that up, I guess. Yeah, as it stands, no English football at least till 30th of April, at the minimum. The way things are going, doesn't look like even that date is going to be.
Yeah, the way things are going, that sounds optimistic.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to keep going with the podcasts. we might start to run out of contact. The thing we kept saying to each other before was, the content comes to us, the content comes to us. But as the weeks go on without football, that might get less and less.
Currently, some of our front runners for content is Diego Dalla and Bruno Fernandes went to each other's house to play football with each other.
Yep, that's high.
And that's about one of the highlights.
Bruno Fernandes also saw him doing keepy ups with a toilet roll on his Instagram.
Seen a lot of that recently.
Yes, that's like quality football at the moment, right?
The current state of world football.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we've got a few other things. So we mentioned Pogba at the start. Latest rumours are he might sign a new deal. I feel like we've said this one before, but it seems to have cropped up again.
It just keeps swinging left and right at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the argument I heard is that for the kind of money United are going to want for Pogba, and now that there's no football being played, arguably no one's going to want to take the risk. He needs to prove his fitness first. If he doesn't have a chance to do that, no one's going to pay the money. So he might sign a new deal for that. Other people I've heard saying, Bruno's changed the atmosphere around the club. He's changed the performances on the pitch. Pogba might want to be a part of that. We've seen Bruno make other players look better. If he can make Pogba even look better as well, then that's a positive.
Do you think with this whole potential Pogba wants to move elsewhere and bearing in mind the coronavirus stuff, could there be an impact on transfer fees? Because, as of current, they're quite extortionate. I'm not too sure. Obviously, I don't think either of us are experts on the economic state of the world, but I imagine it's going to have some kind of hit because the clubs financially will suffer because there's no match day revenue.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine the clubs that are going to be interested in Pogba, they would probably be fine.
Yeah.
But certainly, further down the ladder, that's going to make a difference, right? I mean, there's going to be some clubs that are going to struggle to survive. But it might do. I mean, if I don't know, again, like I said, we're not economic experts, but if the currency is become more devalued,
that's what I was thinking. And if there's a general shift in the market, it could, that could.
If one country, like I don't know, Italy's been hit pretty bad. I suppose they use the euro, right? But I don't know, maybe let's use us as an example. If the UK gets it really bad and the pound becomes pretty worthless, then we might have to pay over the odds, right, for players. You just have to wait and see, I guess.
So with this rumored, there's been fresh rumors that our good friend Mino Raiola has
he's been quiet for a while, right?
Yeah, he seemed to be quiet. I think he let coronavirus take the main stage, and then he decided that that's enough of that. I need to get back in the news. And he's recently mentioned that he would like to take a great footballer to Real Madrid this summer. And obviously, this is probably another one of his ploys to kind of fuel some kind of fire. What do you think of that? Do you think this could be him trying to hint that Pogba wants to go, or him trying to cause some kind of further issue?
I mean, you know what Raiola's like. I mean, he's not one to hint, right? He's more of a he's a bit more explicit than that usually, right? So I think maybe, I don't know, this could be contract negotiations.
For sure.
Yeah, it's hard to. Well, yeah. Usually with him, he's very clear about what he wants. I mean, he's got other clients as well, right? He's got great footballers like Lingard.
Yeah, he's obviously referring to Jesse Lingard when he talks about a great player.
I've even heard rumors that Haaland might be on the move again. Apparently, he's got a release clause, and the way he's playing, 80 million, I think, is what's been talked about. The way he's playing, that's not, that's pretty good value.
Yeah, completely is. Yeah.
So if someone like Madrid come in and they say to Haaland, we want you to be our main player, it's a pretty appealing prospect, right? And I think that's kind of what Dortmund must agree with these players, that you can use the club as a stepping stone. Maybe 6 months is a bit quick.
Yeah.
But
maybe at this rate it could be about 9 months, but yeah, about 6 months worth of.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it yet. I guess Pogba's still got a while left on his deal. I think he's got 2 years, right? So
yeah,
no great urgency probably at the moment. But yeah, I'd always be happy to have him back in the team.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the day where we get to see him line up alongside Bruno.
Pogba, right? We'll call it the Pogba. But yeah, you got to imagine a Bruno, Pogba, and one of McTominay, Fred, or Matic would be a pretty formidable midfield going forward.
Yeah,
But
definitely good, very solid foundation to build on for
and
sure.
depth as well. I mean, if you add Garner into that, you've arguably got two players for each position,
Hmm.
and maybe if Bellingham joins in the summer, winter, whatever.
Whenever that may be.
Yeah. Suddenly midfield's looking like it's pretty well stocked.
For sure. Speaking of that midfield, recent news: Matic has signed a new contract with us for a 1 year extension to his current contract.
Yeah, so I think that was they had the club had the option to trigger it, right? I
Yeah,
think so they've done that, and apparently there's talks about extending that even further, which is showing this is a pretty great turnaround, right? Because at the start of the season, I think when Ollie came in, he was playing well, but then he trailed off after his injury,
yeah.
and he started the season pretty poorly as well. But since January, he's been in pretty great form,
I
and
think
he's made a massive difference to the defense. I think.
yeah, at the start of the season, he was one of those players that was being talked of as someone that we should probably look to move on. But yeah, now he seems like an integral part. He's his
Yeah, it's kind of like a legacy from the Mourinho.
yeah,
We got rid of Fellaini, and
and he does add that balance, I think, of experience as well needed in that position because
yeah,
McTominay is obviously very young and Fred is inexperienced in terms of playing in the Premier League. So Matic does bring that solid experience of playing
yep.
in that position season in season out.
And he's not that old, right? He's still, I think he's 31.
31, yeah.
Yeah, which some central midfielders they play well into their mid 30s. So yeah, providing he can stay injury free, he can be. He seems like a good guy to have around the club because, like you said, he's experienced.
Yeah.
A lot of the other midfielders aren't. So
And it shows how much we how much we need him in recent times. He started 9 of our last 10. The
yeah,
only game he hasn't started was the one he was suspended for. So he is, I think,
I still think that red card was harsh as well.
yeah, very harsh. But I think he's quite a strong anchor in that midfield and someone that we do need going forward.
Yeah, and I think something like 14 out of the 20 clean sheets we've had this season have been with him starting. So
yeah, it definitely adds a bit of structure to that midfield for sure.
Yep. But yeah, I guess we've come to the end of all of our topics, which is this is a pretty short one for us. Usually we would go over now what we have to look forward to. It's a Thursday we're recording this on, so it's one day late. So usually we'd have our Europa League game tonight, and then we'd probably have a Premier League game at the weekend. But as we discussed, we've got nothing.
we could put predictions on how many keep your toilet roll keep ups we think Jesse Lingard will do on the weekend.
So Lingard, I've unfollowed him, but so I'm not aware of what his toilet roll exploits are. But yeah, I don't know. That's all we've got is Instagram posts from like Bruno's pretty active on social media.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it's. I've seen actually. I don't know if you noticed. Some of the clubs have been playing Connect Four against each other on Twitter. And
yes, I've seen them do that. Yeah.
Noughts and crosses. Well, that was quite good.
There's quite a few FIFA tournaments going around at the moment as well between.
Yeah,
clubs.
it seems like it. But yeah, I think that's obviously there's a lot worse things going on, but one of the worst things at the moment is there's just nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, we are in a bit of a bleak state in terms of the footballing world. As in, there's just at least usually when we have these breaks, there's some international football that we can reflect on.
It's not even just football. Not everyone cares, but there's no cricket, there's no Formula One.
There's literally nothing.
There's nothing. So we're just stuck watching. I think Sky needs to change one of their channels to Premier League Years 24/7.
I think Sky has done that at this rate. Every time I take a look, it's just Premier League Years or the greatest goals of any of whatever club that they can put a montage together for.
But yeah, I did actually hear that they're going to pause this. You can pause your Sky subscription, which is nice.
Yeah,
nice of them.
There has been some good stories coming out from these organisations at this time. So I'll speak more specifically about the football Manchester United ones. Yeah, Sky Sports have said that they can pause subscriptions, and then also Gary Neville's offered his hotel, and he's offered to make sure his staff are still paid and all that kind of stuff. So it's a nice touch to make sure consumers and just regular people.
Hopefully BT follow, because again these are expensive subscriptions and people buy them for the live sport. Nothing else. So it'd be nice to have a break on those.
Yeah, would make sense. I guess it's just a general time in the world where we can kind of, it's almost as if we've taken about 20 years back into the past in terms
Yeah.
of our, how we're living with the entertainment and accessibility. But we can't complain too much.
Yeah. I guess we'll call it a day there. If you guys have got any ideas on how to keep entertained during this not quite lockdown yet, but during this period, let us know. We'll let you know if we come up with any ideas as well. But yeah, stay safe.
Stay safe, yes, for sure.